All right, we are live. And
Orange
Cassidy and them just won. So this is
Yeah.
perfect.
I just said
So
that.
we
I
didn't
like
even start. All right, perfect.
I like this.
I'm glad you love it. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends, we are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma. I'm the ophthalmologist of optimism. She is the sultan of sarcasm and the sorceress of sass. She's pointing to her mouth for God knows what reason. But she is Danielle. I am Brady. We are the Heel Marks. This is Mark of Honor. ROH got to a late start today. We were getting antsy in our pantsy. Didn't want to wait for the show to end. So as soon as Orange Cassidy and Trump Beretta won, we're like, let's get this show started. The match, the show still is going on. And Helico and Serpentico attempted to get the upper hand on Cole Carter and Griff Garrison. They did not. So they attempted to attack them. That went unsuccessful. And Cassidy and Beretta returned to the ring to prevent any more misdoings from happening. They're in the ring. They're having an interaction right now. Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta and Chucky T over here kind of like, what's going on? What is happening? I think they're going to hug. I think they might kiss, Danielle. You might get your wish.
Oh, my God. I love when people kiss. I get so excited.
Oh, wait, here it comes. Here it comes. They're in the center of the ring. They're ready. Got to give the people what they want. Coming in for the group hugs. Somebody threw water in and then caught it.
That looks like a
no
group
hug.
picture.
They just posed, and Orange Cassidy kind of did his dance.
He's doing like
there you go.
He's doing a Weekend at Bernie's dance.
Yeah, that's like the equivalent of kissing, I think. Like the Weekend at Bernie's dance is basically like two men just kissed.
Yeah, that's accurate. I can't even. Yeah, you're right. I can't even argue with that.
Guys, as always, thanks for joining us here for Mark of Honor, the best, your favorite Ring of Honor post show. Do not forget to go ahead and support all the shows over at BodySlam.net. Wherever you see that like button, go ahead and hit that like button. If you see a comment button, go ahead, hit that comment button. Join the conversation. Join the conversation. And, of course, go to Slam Chats and support the network. Do it, do it, do it.
Please and thank you.
With that out of the way, the show is officially done. Let's get started. Sun.
Wow.
Danielle, what you like that? What'd you think about tonight?
So I guess because we were like, hey, this show's only 45 minutes. I hope they fix it this time. So they're like, we're going to give you a 45-minute delay and make this show extra long.
Right. That's exactly what they did.
It was good. It was fine. It was nice seeing fresh.
They didn't even make it extra long. They just started 45 minutes late. Like
right.
That's all it was.
Right. I mean, I'm so used to them cutting it shorter and shorter that this was long for me. I like that they just I like that I saw fresh yet old faces. That was nice for a change.
Yeah.
We saw some people. Yeah, we got to see Orange Cassidy. We saw Eddie Kingston do a thing for a minute. We saw a bunch of stuff.
We finally saw Eddie. That's right. We finally saw Eddie.
I mean, Eddie wasn't there, but we saw Eddie.
I mean, we heard from him. We got some announcements. Supercard of Honor is starting to take shape. I mean, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Let's do it because we're getting advancements in the tournament. Let's start off. We get Billy Starks and Diamante. This was a good match. This was hard hitting. I think there's a chance this was one of the better, if not the best match of the tournament so far. Certainly, it was presented as the closest. I may have to go back and look at other matches of this round, but this struck me as the match where it did seem like both girls were really at least selling the fact that they were taking each other to their limits, that at the end of it seemed like it was anyone's match and it could have gone anywhere.
I think with this match and the Mercedes match, I think this has become it's finally at the point where you're like, yo, I don't know who's going to advance. Anybody can advance. Sure, we have our favorites and sure we have an inkling that who might move on, but it was nice to like feel like you weren't sure who was going to move on. And shout out to Billy for an amazing gear of Nightmare Before Christmas Sally. I marked out so hard when she came out. I was like, she's wearing Sally gear. I was like, she better win. I was all behind her. You know, I love Diamante.
She's great. We saw her again. I was surprised when we saw her again.
Diamante?
What?
Who were you surprised that you saw again?
Diamante.
Why were you surprised? Oh, for the Mercedes match?
Right. I mean, it just kind of struck me as weird because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, if you know about Diamante and Mercedes Martinez, you know they've been aligned, they're tag team, they're friends. So, yeah,
right.
Nothing new. But I feel like we haven't really seen them together in a minute. They haven't really done anything to push that alliance. If Diamante would have won this match against Billy Starks, she would have been facing Mercedes Martinez. At no point did they ever tease that like they did with Layla Hirsch and Rachel Erling. At no point did they allude to that, mention that, anything of that. It's like Diamante got eliminated, and now all of a sudden we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this alliance. We're going to use this tag team. We're going to go ahead and throw it back to Diamante and Mercedes Martinez, and now she'll help her advance against Abaddon.
I think this match was better.
You thought Mercedes Martinez versus Abaddon was better?
Yeah, I thought that match was better. I know you said that you probably thought Billy Starks. I think this match was better.
Okay, why don't you talk about it then?
No, I'm just saying. I just thought this match. I mean, I love Mercedes Martinez. She's one of my favorite wrestlers. I just thought this match, I really felt like they were going hard on each other, and there was a lot of stiff hits. There were some stiff geeks there, and I really appreciated that. And I just thought this match flowed better. And this was one of the matches where I was like, man, is Abaddon going to take it? I was like, nah, it's definitely going to be Mercedes. But there were definitely moments where I was like unsure, and I really think that they gave it their all in this match.
Yeah, no, this was a good one. And I did, through the match, I kind of found myself hoping that Abaddon was going to take it. Because I'm just kind of like, I'm looking at Abaddon as Abaddon's still a bit more of the future than Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez is the legend of this tournament. She's the ROH legend in this tournament. And we kind of called it from the beginning. We think Mercedes Martinez will probably not win, but she'll make it to, and here it is. She's made it to Final Four, which is what we're predicting. We thought possibly Final Two. We'll talk about if we still feel that way a little bit later when we get into what the future matchups hold for this tournament. But I like that Mercedes Martinez did need to get a little underhanded, did need help to get past Abaddon. I do like that they put Abaddon over in that sense.
Yeah,
you know, she didn't take a clean 1, 2, 3. It wasn't easy. And as you did mention, by putting this as your match of the tournament so far, I mean, they really did take each other to the limit, similar to what I said about the first one.
Definitely.
They both came across as true forces in the division, to the point where you really felt like whoever did win is going into the next round a possible front runner, depending on how the bracket shake up.
And it was nice to see everybody in the tournament get an entrance. That was nice.
Right. I mean, we're in this round. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully. I was like, oh, look, entrances. How delightful.
We'll have to get into to our picks a little bit later when we talk about what the tournament shows us now. But let's talk about your boy, Big Shotty Lee Johnson.
That's my boy?
Well, I say that because I know you hate the fact that he goes by Big Shotty. And I used to say that they didn't really emphasize Big Shotty that much. That was kind of just in his Twitter handle. But no, they have been calling him Big Shotty a lot. He references it in a promo. Let's get to that. But first, Lee Johnson does defeat Aaron Solo. Lee Johnson does get a hometown entrance Because he's a hometown boy here. He had the crowd in his palm of his hand.
Mhm.
I will say it once again, only because I'm going to try not to say it again in the show. But this is why you give everyone entrances, because most of the local talent is coming from that hometown. They're going to get this type of reaction every time.
Definitely,
Like
absolutely.
the reaction that Lee Johnson got tonight, which was a great reaction, and he did a great job soaking it in. Walked around the ring, you could see the fans familiar with him, happy, proud to see this guy representing their city, their state. So this is the feeling we should get for all extras, all jobbers, all whatever you want to call them. Give them entrances so that for the consumer, for the viewer here, they get put over. We watch them get a great crowd reaction. We watch the crowd starts, the bell rings, and then their name is getting chanted by the crowd. That makes us take note. That makes us Google search, who 100%. Is this person? Let me look this wrestler up. And then when they have a great match but lose, you're still excited to see them return. Like, it's all about giving momentum to these guys. And speaking of momentum, I thought Aaron Solo came out of this match looking better than I've ever. Like, Aaron Solo's been around for a while. I thought he really shined tonight.
It's really funny you say that. This was the moment where I was like, oh, is this where Lee Johnson's going to lose? I really had a feeling that he was going to lose to Aaron Solo. I really like Aaron Solo a lot. Like, when he popped up, I was like, oh, good to see Aaron Solo again. And I was like, oh, is this where Lee Johnson? I'm like, obviously he's not. I was like, but is it? It might be. So
Aaron Solo's another one. In fact, both Solo and Lee Johnson both kind of had their momentum stalled around the time Cody left. A lot of the Nightmare Factory kids really just you almost felt like they were projects, and Cody was doing different things and trying to make them bloom. And then once Cody left, a lot of them were just kind of like, okay, you know what? We'll try something here and there. Last time I think we saw Solo do something meaningful on AEW television anyway was when he was with QT Marshall's new stable, which didn't last very long.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've been trying different things with Solo. I don't know. This seemed organic. What Solo did tonight that really caught my attention. It seemed off the cuff, seemed like something no one told him to do. Where when Shoddy Lee, first off, he shakes Bryce's hand, the referee.
Right.
So Bryce tries to shake Solo's hand. Solo's kind of like, what? And then when Shoddy Lee goes for it, Solo gives a really condescending, like patronizing, double-handed handshake. So excited. I think that, I do think that was just off the cuff. And in that moment, I think he heard a bit of reaction, whether it was from commentary or the crowd. But then he takes a beat, goes around to the audience, and starts giving them condescending, patronizing handshakes. Does it again to the referee. Does it again to Shoddy Lee. To me, I could be totally wrong, but this really came across as something he was just feeling in the moment. He tried something. He sensed a reaction. He went for it. And the reaction on this end was just as positive as the crowd on ringside. This struck me as something different, a creative way of being a heel that we don't see all the time.
He probably was like, the code of honor is dumb, and I'm gonna mock this to the fullest and get a bunch of heat because of it, because it is so stupid.
Right, and it's like, listen, for you. If you think about it, that's what most heels think, right? When they're not shaking hands, for example, and we'll get to it, but Slim J, he was like, I don't want to shake your hand, your greasy hands. So it's like the heel mentality is, I don't want to shake your hand. I don't want to be respectful. But this was another way to look at it of, guys, this thing is stupid. You want to do it here? Yeah, I'm shaking your hand. Ooh, you get a handshake. You get a handshake. Right. Like,
you get a handshake. You get a handshake.
Yeah. So I really hope that this continues. It really caught my attention. And like I said, when you are in Ring of Honor at an Aaron Solo level, then let's call it what it is. This is kind of his development. They're putting him on TV. They're giving him reps. And he has the opportunity where he can kind of throw different things at a wall and see what sticks.
I also felt like this was a longer match for Lee Johnson, because I feel like, not that he's necessarily had squash matches these last couple of matches where he's been going undefeated, like this winning streak, but I felt like this was a much longer match than he normally got.
I agree. And I think it's because while Shoddy does usually get matches with like ROH people, but we've also seen him with local talent where obviously it would be more of the squash side. this is another. I mean, Aaron Solo and Shadi Lee Johnson aren't too far apart. Obviously, Lee's getting the push right now, but these guys joined the company around the same time, probably trained together. So I think Solo's kind of an ROH project as well. So they're kind of like, you know what, guys, take 15, take 17, however long it went. But I do agree, this did go long, and that's probably why, as you said in the beginning, you actually thought Shadi might lose it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shadi. And speaking of ROH possibly watching this show, because we some of the complaints that we put last week was they were addressed this week. And one of them being, we're saying Shadi's getting the push, right? Shadi's getting how many wins in a row? Why doesn't Shadi get some promo time? And what did we get? We got some promo time.
I thought of that as soon as it happened. I was like, oh my God, we're manifesting. This is fantastic.
Right. And I don't know if you sensed what I sensed. But not that this was a heel promo, but it could have been. Like, it could have been. Like, he's got that dog in him. He had a bit of swagger. He had a bit of confidence. He put everyone on notice. He said, I'm not here to, I'm here to take over. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, and when I was watching the match with Solo, I'm kind of like, okay, Shadi's been doing his thing. I'm ready. It's a great match. Good win for Shadi, but I'm ready for someone to become an adversary. Like, I'm ready for somebody to step up, whether somebody attacks him or whatever. But the fact that he's like, I'm not here to take part, I'm here to take over. Like, this is what we needed from him.
I thought Ethan Page was going to pop up. That's who I was expecting.
Just kick him in the face?
No, just pop up and say anything and be like, oh, because they're both on a roll right now. So I figured, that would be the best way to do it. But I guess not. I was waiting for someone to pop up, and Ethan Page was the first one that popped in my head.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen Ethan, especially since there's no reason for it, because like as we've been talking about, his is one of the few stories that gets featured every week. We're getting closer to Supercard of Honor. Those matches are getting filled up. He was the first person to essentially request a match for Supercard of Honor. He's been petitioning to face Kyle Fletcher for a minute. Now, all of a sudden, we're not seeing Ethan Page. We haven't seen Kyle Fletcher in over a month, if not 2. So I'm expecting next week us to get some involvement as far as the men's TV title is concerned, while the women's TV title has been taking shape. But once again, just loving the fact that we have been welcomed to the Shadi show. Speaking of the ladies again, we did get Kiera Hogan, the hometown hero, and she wins a 4-corner survival match against Robin Renegade, Lady Frost, and Layla Hirsch. Once again, I love the hometown hero, and I love that it's Kiera Hogan, especially since we did recently see her get eliminated from the tournament. It's good to see this win, and this was another thing that I kind of referenced that I would like to see happening last week, where it's kind of like, okay, you've got a collection of women who are no longer in the tournament, but you can still like figure out who's in that number 1 contender spot when we get our new champion. It doesn't necessarily have to be the finalist or even someone from the final 4. It can be someone who's been stacking up win after win after win while the tournament progresses without them. Definitely. And commentary kind of put that over when Kiera got this win as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thought this was a great match. I thought it was really fun to see. Just because we're doing a tournament for other things doesn't mean that we can't have other women matches for something else. So I was really happy to see this match.
Right. And I was a bit surprised, to be honest, that Kiera got the win. I'm glad to see they decided to take care of her in her hometown.
Me too. I thought that was weird. I'm not weird, but yeah, I wasn't expecting her to win.
I mean, I would have gone with Layla Hirsch. I would have just gone with her. Interesting that Rachel Ellen came out with the Team Layla shirt, kind of just gave her the pound and then bid her a fond farewell, though. This is the second time Rachel's not been in the corner of Layla, and Layla has been unsuccessful. I wonder if that becomes a thing, or perhaps I just got my tin foil hat on.
Oh, man, we need our tin foil hats. We forgot them.
Sosis has to make them for us.
Oh, yeah, you definitely
got to get those tin foil hats made.
Yeah, we got to make them.
We got a lot of ladies matches here. I'm sad that we kind of have burned through them now, but we have to talk about big news. Big news happened. So first off, Athena facing Aisha. And Aisha, Danielle, you might remember. We've seen her in the past. She was a staple of Shine under the name Dementia DeRose.
Oh, yeah.
I believe she bills herself as wrestling's first like Legally Blind. I know she's blind. She's missing an eye. I don't know exactly how she builds herself, but she is a blind wrestler. Yeah, she is also known as the WOAD, the Weapon of Ass Destruction. One of her more common nicknames. I don't know why she went as Aisha in this one. I don't know if that's her new name with the promotion. I don't know if that's her new name on the circuit. But as soon as I saw her, I was kind of like, wait, but I recognize her. And as soon as they mentioned that she did have she was missing an eye, I was immediately like, oh, yes, that is her. And then I think Caprice even mentioned a Weapon of Ass Destruction reference. So happy to see her get some shine here.
Yeah.
Proving ground match. That's right. Proving ground match where, and I love these matches, and I do love that we were able to get Aisha some attention here in this match, where all she has to do is survive 10 minutes with the champ.
Yep.
I like it because it does kind of explain why an unknown would be in the ring with the champion and kind of gives them the opportunity of a lifetime. And also I like it because it gives the champion a good reason to come in with a chip on her shoulder. Yep. And basically saying, proving ground, I'm going to prove that nobody is on my level.
She was very angry after this match. Remember when we were trying to figure out if she was a face or a heel, and then we were trying to figure out if Nyla Rose was a heel or a face? I'm very confused now. She was very mad at everyone.
Right. I think once again I'm back to thinking that Nyla Rose was the face.
Yeah. It's literally the back and forth because I'm like, oh, Athena's yelling at fans and being mean to them. I was like,
right. Oh. Yeah, like I'm all over the place. Like, okay, so I was right. She was the heel all along.
It was me all along. I like this promo also, too.
Oh my God. I mean, listen, remember when we were talking about I love in-ring promos? Why can't somebody get a win and then cut a promo? Right. And here we are.
That was another thing that happened for this match and the other matches we're going to get to. And I was like, oh man, I was like manifesting.
Right. Yeah. They're learning and I love that we're getting that. So yeah, like it would be one thing for Athena to come out, have a proving ground match, and then attack, and then leave her laying, and then just leave. And then honestly, that would probably end up, we'd get a segment with her in the back getting interviewed by Lexi Nair, which would have been delightful. And then she would have said pretty much everything she said here back there. And hey, it would have been fine. It's the way they have done things, and it is what it is. But this, to me, is something different. And in the ring promo with crowd that you just pissed off, you just left their hometown hero laying. They're booing you. They're angry at you. You get to toy with them. She was able to say, Atlanta can't wipe my ass. You know, she went back at him, insulted the city, and then put everyone on notice, which she has been doing, and which, honestly, I don't know if there's anyone in ROH who does it better than Athena at this point.
I really like that she also said that these women are so afraid of her that they're going after a different championship and not trying to come to her.
That was great.
I loved that. Yeah.
That was great.
Because instead of us sitting there thinking like, why wouldn't these women want to go after the ROH championship? It's like, she's like, oh, this is why, because they're too afraid of me. They don't want to step to me, which I thought was fantastic.
No, it was brilliant. Totally taking advantage of the fact that like they kind of had Nyla Rose be number one contender around the time the tournament started.
Yeah.
To the point where who could make their claim? They kind of did just have to get in line for the TV title tournament. And so this was a perfect talking point for Athena to throw in all of their faces. It was just, and this promo felt different. All hers do, I think. But this one in particular, where it's like, we've heard her call herself the forever champion before, but we've never really heard her flat out say, listen, I'm bored. I need more competition. Where is my competition? Who will it be?
Who will it be? Believe it or not.
It's just Sheeta.
That was beautiful. I love
that. That's right. Hikaru Shida comes out. Commentary puts her over as possibly the greatest AEW women's champion of all time.
That made me so happy. Yeah, I loved everything about that.
No, this was great. I loved Sheeta came out with like the pipe in hand and pointed at the championship with the pipe.
She looked great.
She did. And
she
this,
so good.
I'm glad that this happened the way it did, because as Supercard of Honor does develop, a lot of these matches are just going to get thrown together. A lot of these matches are going to get thrown together on Collision, on Dynamite, on Rampage. Some will just get thrown together on like Twitter. You know what I mean? Like they're just going to announce matches and just we're going to pop because, oh my God, it's a great match. And they're putting together the Supercard of Honor. But it's important that a lot of these matches, especially championship matches, get set up on this show. So yes, let's get our champion in the ring. Give her another dominating win. Let her talk, and then who's going to come challenge her as she's begging for competition? Arguably the most competition she's ever had. Arguably the most accomplished wrestler in AEW right now to face Athena for the championship.
So good. I love everything about this. I can't wait for this match. This match is going to be so good.
Oh, yeah. This match is going to light it up, too. I would not mind a no disqualification stipulation. In some way, I would like to see them get a little crazy with the weapons or just fighting outside the ring, just being able to be more creative with where they jump and do all this the cool shit they're going to do. But these women are going to deliver. Speaking of teams that always deliver, we had Top Flight and Action Andrade taking on the Iron Savages along with Jack Jameson. They always say the Iron Savages with Jack Jameson, but I always kind of thought the Iron Savages was the name of the stable. So I don't feel like I got to say the Iron Savages with Jack Jameson, but they do. So fuck it. I'll do it too.
Okay. Where do I begin with this? I'm worried. For the Iron Savages because I feel like they're making them overly gimmicky, that they're not really establishing them as a dominant force in wrestling, like as wrestlers and as a stable. And that's frustrating to me because we know they can go. We've seen them in action.
Yeah.
I like their gimmicks, but like, I did like that they were talking in the ring. Like, I like that because we've talked about this. Do stuff in the ring. People are in the ring, get people hyped. And they're talking about taking people to Titty Town and you know, where's the sauce? I felt that went on a little too long, but then it gets a little too silly where I feel like they're just making the Iron Savages too silly and they're not really letting them be the wrestling force that we want them to be. That's what I'm worried about with them.
I think for you to get what you want, but for them to continue to kind of stay the same way they are and not change too much, I actually think they would have to go heel. And then that way, like the stuff they would do would be heat. Like it would be due to garner heat. They take the sauce, they'd spray it in their opponent's face or whatever, and then they would get heat. They talk about Titty City, and the crowd would sell it. Oh, boo, we hate your titties. I don't know.
I said that wrong.
It's interesting that you said that because tonight is like the most over I thought the Iron Savages were in terms of what they're going for.
I do think that was a good crowd, though.
Like they welcomed everyone to Titty City, and then we always have been talking about different things they could do that would actually get the crowd to chant Titty City. The crowd was chanting Titty City this time. They got behind it immediately. The crowd was even into the chug off, where Action Andrade showed off that he can dominate a bottle of water.
I love a good bottle of water.
Were you impressed by the whole crushing the bottle of water and the water's gone type of thing? Did that impress you?
No, that don't impress me much. It's been a while since I've used musical lyrics to answer things on this show. I don't think
there's anyone better than Shania. You chose,
oh man, I haven't done it in a while. Yeah, it don't impress me much. No, I wasn't really impressed with him chugging his.
I wasn't impressed only because, like, for me anyway, I love water. On a regular. Water's easy to chug.
Yeah,
easy to chug, and that guy's chugging like.
And that's not ice cold water. It's hard to chug ice cold water. That was probably room temperature water. Easy to chug.
Yeah, room temperature is absolutely easy.
The easiest
really,
water
all
to
he
chug.
did was squish the bottle. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think like, maybe if he had if he had like a smoothie or a Gatorade or something, then sure, maybe.
And also like you and my friend Seth are very mean to water bottles. So, like, as I watch him crush this, I'm like, Bray could do this better. Like, when you drink a water bottle, when you put it down, it's, like, deformed. I'm like, why are you so angry at this water bottle? Just sip it. You're just like...
You know what it is? Because a lot of times I'm, like, so thirsty. And so I'm literally doing, like, the two-hand hold. One's on the bottom, one's on the side. I'm just squeezing.
I always know, like, if you leave a water bottle anyway, I always know it's yours. Because I'm like, this poor water bottle has been abused. So when he
See,
when he
that's why
crushed
I
it,
have,
I was
like-
just like, meh. I've seen
That's
worse.
why I have like a refillable one that I can like. I can go
Not
ahead.
be
I
mean
can't do it.
to.
I can't do any damage to that one. These plastic bottles. They
Yeah, you like
got no
crush
shot.
them, and then they're
I'm
like
taking them
however
all
out
out.
of
I'm
shape.
taking no prisoners when
So
it
when
comes
he
to
crushed
plastic
it, I was
bottles.
like, this is lukewarm temperature water, and you're just chugging this. Like, I'm not impressed with this at all.
Yeah,
If he chugged
I
like
did
hot
think these
sauce
guys.
or
I did think these guys had hot sauce. I have chugged hot sauce before, but I don't want to talk about it.
yeah, I don't know the sauce. If they chugged the
These guys have great contrast in styles to the point that I
Yes.
really wouldn't mind seeing them get together again. I do
too.
think like one of these teams, one of these groups would have to turn heel, and then
Right.
we've got ourselves a solid feud. I think the Iron Savages could be heels that kind of like I said, their talking could garner a lot of heat. They would have to tweak a little bit, but I think they could do that. I don't necessarily know if I want that. I kind of do like them as baby faces, but you're right. The way that their baby face makes it easy for ROH to book them as common losers. We don't see them win very often, and not take. Don't get me wrong, not taking anything away from Top Flight next on Andrade.
Oh no, not at all.
Obviously, those three are more featured on AEW television, so you know how they are ranked by the boss. But size-wise, I would have liked to see it go the other way. Yeah. Like, because they're not establishing the Iron Savages as Iron Savages. They're not establishing them as powerhouses, which they should be.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? So I would like to see more of that. I don't want to only see them face John Cruz and two friends for us to see them actually throw people around. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we got some of their offense, but I would like to see a little bit more power. See them throw people around. They are one of the few powerhouse teams you really have. So I think they should be presented as such.
So yeah, that's the only thing I worry about a little bit. So I hope that changes and they don't make them just like a silly gimmick just to not, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want that.
Well, speaking of changes. And speaking of us manifesting things, we get a segment where Lexi Nair is talking with Taya, and we get a bit of an update on what is happening. First off, I loved Lexi asking her, how does it feel to be a boy mom?
Yeah, that was funny.
For the record, it took me a little bit to get it. I kind of was like, wait a minute. She has kids and we're talking about it. What is happening? Like, when did that? And then I was like, oh boy, mom. Okay. Like, very quickly, I was like, what is this? And then it hit me. And I was like, okay, that's hilarious.
What's great about Dalton is you have to listen to him like clearly to get half the funny shit he says. When he's like, where are they? I smell them on you.
Yeah.
But you have to really listen to him because
him and Taya were going back at it, back and forth, and everything they were saying was priceless.
Oh my god, what do you like? No, they're mine. Look at me, you filth.
What food do they like? No, that's wrong. They like tots and sashimi.
Is that what he said? He said tots, right? I couldn't hear what he said. Yeah, that I missed. I was like, shit, what did he say they like? And then she's like, they're on top of a mountain learning how to be a man, to be men.
Right. And learning how to be TV ready. Which we spoke about last week as a possibility where this could be going that way.
Yeah, that was so funny. You don't even know what they like. This segment was so funny because it's just like,
no, I love it. She said, "You're not fit to have boys."
It was so funny. At least they're not like abusing them. At least they're just like making them awesome in their eyes. Like, you know, they're not like keeping them in a cage.
I really like, and this is what I was hopeful for, where tops. We need. Because now I want to see something different. So now we've got Dalton, who's lost his mind, even more so. He's desperate to get his boys back. Funny. But as you said, they're looking over a mountaintop, learning how to be men. So maybe they come back with a makeover. Maybe they come back with a mind over. Maybe they're just not the boys that Dalton Castle grew up with.
Oh man, they're gonna come out and he's gonna see them and try to like go to them, and they're just not gonna have it, and it's gonna be so heartbreaking. It's going to be so heartbreaking. No, I hate it.
I mean, listen, the one good thing about heartbreak is it means that they're telling us a story.
Yeah.
And this is one of the better ones. I do wonder how this plays out at Supercard of Honor. Like, how do we get to another match, right? That we got to get there.
The boys are gonna pretend to be TV ready when really they're just peacocks that want to spread their wings and fly.
I'm a peacock on this, Captain. You gotta let me fly.
So yeah, they're gonna pretend to be TV ready and be on Johnny's side, and then they're gonna set up the match, and then they're gonna help Dalton win so that they can return to being the boys. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
I worry that it could be like they would make us think going into Supercard of Honor that the boys are still kind of captive. But then at Supercard of Honor, they turn on Dalton and actually because they want to be men.
On you.
They're done with being boys. It's time to be men. They want to have their bar mitzvahs.
Look at me, you filth. It was so funny. I was just like, because he says it so quick that if you're not listening to him, like, and you're just like focusing on her, you miss his little thing. They like tots.
I mean, would you say Dalton is a good actor? I don't know if I would say good actor, but his slapstick comedy ability is fantastic.
He has excellent delivery. Yeah, his delivery is fantastic, and it's like no other. His delivery is so good.
Right. He's a character. You can't.
Also, putting him with Johnny TV and Taya, they're funny too. So like they have good comedic timing too. So the three of them together, it's actually very funny.
And the truth is, I do think that all three technically deserve better.
Oh, 100%. 100% than this
as far as the company as a whole is concerned. 100%. So I think this is a case where they're kind of coming together, boys included. So let's make it all five.
Let's just have some fun.
They're coming together and like, listen, what can we do? Let's make this good. Let's make this. Okay. And then and they're just really having fun with it. They're able to, as we said, with ROH, you kind of are able to throw things at the wall, see what sticks, see what doesn't, see what pops, and everything they do every single week just makes it better, funnier, and you know, it's a take my money moment every week.
I could never be like, I would be dying laughing during this whole backstage segment. I don't know how people keep a straight face. Like, I would be dying. All of them. I would be hysterical laughing the entire time. I would have to be like, I would be like the Usos, how they're covering their face when Sami Zayn, like, is saying his shit. Like, Yes. I'd be hysterical.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's another thing. We got to give props to everyone for not breaking consistently, because Dalton is a nut shop.
What's their favorite food? Sorry.
You don't know gonna get over it. in not so happy news, it was reported this past week, a few days ago, Anthony Henry broke his jaw in a match with, I believe, the bounty hunter Keith.
He said bounty hunter.
Brian Keith, right?
Brian Keith, yeah.
So it is not as bad as he thought when he originally said he thought he was having surgery. Turns out he won't need surgery. It looks like the recovery time is about 8 weeks, though. So let's say within 2 to 3 months, we'll get the Workhorsemen back. But for now, this is the last time we're going to see them team together for a while. The last time we see Anthony Henry wrestle for a while. It's bittersweet that we see them get a win, only because the truth is, it's not that common that we see a Workhorseman get a win. It does happen, but like we also see them lose plenty. I believe we saw them lose last week. So the fact that they were getting this win as the AEW title tournament was announced and they were supposed to be in it, so it does. And then there's a tournament going on for it. Like, it does seem like they were giving them like real momentum here. And it really seemed like they were maybe headed towards the ROH tag team titles, or just it seemed like something good was going to come from this for them. And commentary was putting it over well as a momentum building win. That's how you get tag team title shots. You build your wins. So sad that we don't get to see what happens with that. I do hope that JD Drake gets taken care of while Anthony Henry heals up. Hopefully they can because there's plenty of singles guys that he can have fantastic matches with. You can throw him in every week we get like a 4-way. You could throw him in there and have him mix it up with the high flyers. Like JD Drake can do everything. He's the ninja, just lying in wait, ready to steal the show.
When we first started watching JD Drake, he was a singles guy. I never saw him with Anthony Henry ever until way later on. he was a singles match guy for me. Like, I think we saw him against Matt Riddle was the first one, and he gave Matt Riddle the finger while he was wrestling him, and I was like, oh, I love this guy. He's my new favorite wrestler. Yeah. So him as a singles wrestler, he could do it, and let's get him in some single matches. It would be fantastic.
And Henry in particular this week was doing great work in getting the crowd behind them, which we don't often see from the Workhorsemen. He kind of went out of his way to be like, listen, we're faces in this one, and he really did get them to pop when they were supposed to pop. I like the Workhorsemen as faces better than I do as heels, because I think the crowd will actually like I think the crowd will get way more behind them, cheering for them, than they would just booing them for them. Only because their styles are so complementary and so impressive. How are you going to boo at JD Drake for too long when he goes to the top rope and does an amazing moonsault or jumps outside the ring? And Anthony Henry's lifting off people twice his size. You know what I mean? So and they're both so efficient.
Right. JD Drake, he's very agile and he does all these fun things. Or when he I think when they did the match with what's his name? Jack Cartwheel, and he was like faking doing the cartwheel. That's like
that last week
face stuff. Yeah. So they're good as faces, and it's really good for them to do stuff like that because it gets the crowd really going.
Yeah. So I am hoping for speedy recovery for Anthony Henry. We all are. And of course, we're hoping that JD Drake gets some time to shine. In the meantime, I'm not saying you have to just completely forget about the Workhorseman and make him a singles guy for good, but he's got singles value. He can make everyone look good, including himself. So let's go. Speaking of looking good, Jacoby Watts at the end of the match. Once again, Danielle, we've got some more stories developing. A gimmick seemingly out of nowhere.
Making it happen.
Yeah. I didn't catch it in the entrance, but apparently Jacoby Watts is carrying around a book.
Yeah.
Calling Nick Camarado, my brother, we're going to save you. I'm going to save you, brother. The commentary team was kind of very aggressively like, listen, whatever is in his hand is not the Bible, just so everyone knows.
Right.
I do not know what this man's talking about. So it seems like we've kind of got maybe a delusional, I don't even know.
Prophet.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Maybe.
So,
that should be, he should meet with the righteous.
Yeah, he did kind of remind me of like the Righteous Gemstones type of thing. So I wonder how they make those different, and how Jacoby Watts takes this new gimmick to stand out. It's very like it's one of those attention grabbing gimmicks to the point where I'm now anxious to hear him speak on a microphone because now I want to know what's going on. I want to know what that book is. I want to know what his message is. I want to know how he's going to save Nick, and I want to know who they're going to save next. I don't look at this as the beginning of a tag team. I look this as the beginning of a stable that could possibly take up some time and entertain the masses.
I hope it's just the script of the Barbie movie.
That would be so fucking funny.
Women ruling the world.
Right. I'm going to save you, brother. We're going to go over Barbie and we're going to learn
this is the way
how you've been treating women for years. You've been doing it wrong, brother Camarado. Yeah. You've been doing it wrong.
That'd be so fantastic. And then he starts doing the Ken dance. That'd be amazing.
I'm just Ken.
Such a good song. That'd be freaking
so
amazing.
Funny. Oh my god, I'm so anxious to know what's in it now.
Now we're gonna be so disappointed if it's like nothing.
Right.
It's gonna be like a recipe for Girl Scout cookies or something. We're gonna be like, what is this bullshit? Like
we mentioned earlier the Jack Cartwheel. And we mentioned earlier the weekly Fatal 4-Way that they have, the Four Corner Survival.
Before we get into this match, I have to tell you, while the crowd kept chanting AR Fox, I thought they were saying CM Punk. I don't know why. And I was like, why are they saying CM Punk? And I was like, these assholes. And then I was like,
did you know where the show was as you were thinking these thoughts?
No, but then I remembered and I was like, oh, they're definitely not saying that. And then I was like, oh, they're behind AR Fox. Love this. And then I was like, happy because they were behind him. But it was so weird. For some reason, I thought they were saying CM Punk or saying Punk. I don't know why, but it just kept popping up in my head like that. It's very weird.
No, this is the big time Georgia ATL crowd. AR Fox
ATL
has
fun.
trained many a wrestler out there, an
I love that
unsung
he does
hero
that.
for sure. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
hoping that he would get the hometown win in this one, and I
Right?
honestly think if the fourth guy was anyone but Commander, he would have. But
Yeah,
Commander, they're kind of
Commander.
making him the king of these matches. Like
Yeah,
it seems like
they're
every
shooting him
week
to the moon, man.
every week they put three different guys with him, and he comes out on top every time. I get it, he's amazing, and they're trying to push him, and AEW is trying to push him. But like I said, hometown, like maybe Commander could have taken the night off. You could give me somebody else in that spot, and
Yeah,
AR Fox
anybody.
could have gotten a nice hometown win. AR Fox hasn't gotten a meaningful win in a while, and I'm starting to get frustrated with it.
Yeah, let's give him one. He's a sly guy. Wow, nothing, huh? All right.
He was so over with the crowd too.
Yeah, so over. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, why are they changing CM Punk? This is a good match. I was like, oh, they're saying AR Fox. I'm dumb.
Right.
Even though those sound nothing alike, I just don't know why. I kept being like, what is going on? But yeah,
They sound nothing alike. I mean, in cadence, brr, brr, brr,
yeah,
brr, brr, brr. Like the
maybe
cadence
that was it.
is similar.
Yeah, I like that word, cadence.
That must have been it.
It must have been it. I also thought the Atlanta crowd was really good. This was a really good crowd, and it really made. Yeah. I think the wrestlers. I know this sounds stupid, but I think they wrestled better with this crowd because this crowd was so behind them and into it that they were like excited to wrestle for these people.
I mean, it's not a weird thing to say. That stuff matters. We've been to shows where the crowd was quiet, and we've watched kind of like the wrestlers struggle to really catch momentum. Because you thrive off that stuff, and you want the crowd to make noise off these spots. When you're doing it for like 50 people and no one's making a noise, time stands still. When the crowd?
Go ahead, sorry.
Huh? When the crowd does get behind the matches, it just makes all that difference, and you do get behind it. You feel different. You do different spots, and it's just the match is on a completely different level. It makes the difference.
Did you just immediately think of AR Fox at Shrine? Because that's immediately where my brain went.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
When he was just clapping for everybody, I was like, AR Fox is the best.
And he helped get the crowd into the matches.
Yeah,
and he made those matches a little bit better than they would have been.
He put his hood on, stood in the back, and every time something
Right.
happened, he would clap really, really loud and like get things going. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because those are also his babies. Like he trained some of them too, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Those are his little duckies.
Speaking of the babies, it was finishing as we started the show. Maria's boys, Cole Carter and Griff Garrison losing in the main event. They put this over as the biggest match of their careers. I guess that's, I get it. Orange Cassidy is very well established at this point after his previous reigns. This is the main event. But Maria was kind of putting a little fear of God into them earlier, giving them a little tough love, talking about how they need to step up. You're in the ring with Adam Copeland, cool, but he beats you. That's not good. So like she doesn't care who you're in the ring with. You got to win. They did not win here, but they did not get attacked post-match by Angelico and Serpentico either. That went thwarted. So they still walked out looking like winners. Maria's boys. What do you make of Maria's boys, Danielle?
I like Maria's boys. I mean,
we talked last week about how we were missing them, and we wanted more of them.
Yeah, we're like, where are these guys? Where'd they go?
And here they are.
I was just Orange Cassidy's so handsome. He would be a great Ken. I think he's better looking than Ryan Gosling, to be honest.
Interesting.
I think he's quite handsome.
I think Orange Cassidy needs to hear this. Someone needs to tell Orange Cassidy that Danielle of the heel marks thinks he is more attractive than Ryan Gosling.
I think most people would find him more attractive than Ryan Gosling.
Interesting. All right, we're gonna have to put a poll out. We're gonna have to put out the
I would
poll.
think he's also an architect, so like I'm with that.
Live chat. I don't know how many of you are ladies or just interested in men in general, but all of whom
we don't discriminate regardless of gender.
Join that chat room and let us know, is Orange Cassidy more attractive to you than Ryan Gosling?
They look very similar though. They do look similar.
No, definitely.
Baby Goose or OC, freshly squeezed.
This was Trent's first Ring of Honor appearance
Was it?
They said since like 2009.
I feel like
I don't
we've
know.
seen him.
I about to say I could have sworn we've seen him, but maybe we've seen Trent at so many other shows. Was it definitely ROH we saw him at?
I feel like we saw Trent and Chucky T like.
Oh wait, maybe they're talking about Orange Cassidy.
Oh well, that would makes more sense because
Orange
Trent Beretta,
Cassidy. This might be his first ROH appearance since
because
2009.
I was
That
gonna
makes way more
say
sense.
Trent Beretta. I feel like we've
Right,
seen Trent
we
Beretta
definitely
and Chucky
seen him.
T. Like they've been wrestling a bunch of people constantly. Oh man, I mean
No,
that rhymes.
yeah, right.
Oh, darn.
But I think he's probably talking about Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy
okay.
since 2009. That makes sense.
To be honest, I wasn't aware that Orange Cassidy was ever on ROH, so that's an interesting fun fact for me.
I don't think he was on as Orange Cassidy. Like I think remember when he had like the old gimmick and he like I forget it was like a fly or something.
When he was in Chikara.
Right.
He was what was he? Ant-Man? No, he wasn't Ant-Man. I know what you're talking about.
Not Ant-Man, but he was a part of the colony.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was
right.
Yo, I missed her. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So maybe he did like a spot in. Yeah, maybe he did like a spot in ROH there. I don't know. Interesting.
Oh,
but yeah,
maybe.
This match was fun, and I'm happy that a story is right, and I'm happy that a story was continued in the main event. So we got that. Like this week in particular, we really did get a lot of storytelling, a lot of development.
Yeah, it's set up.
And like even we were talking, where's Eddie Kingston? I was so shocked when they were like, and here's a word from Eddie Kingston. I was very shocked.
Did you laugh that it was just like him recording on his cell phone? I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is he actually coming out? Oh, no, of course he's not.
Very Eddie Kingston. But I did enjoy it. It was kind of like an open letter to his friend Mark Briscoe. And basically talking about the fact that Mark was supposed to get his shot, but wasn't able to because he was hurt, but he was supposed to get it last year. He's talking about how Mark Briscoe wasn't allowed to be on the first show because he was only 17, but he was there. And, basically talking about the fact that he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
He's worked for it. And I want to be the one that gives it to you. Talking about they're going to show what the beautiful art of professional wrestling is.
Yeah. He sounded also sick. I was like, you sound like you have a cold, mister.
You weren't excited about this promo?
No.
Oh my goodness.
So. I was excited he talked about Okada. I was excited. He was like, Okada. What? He was talking about Okada. I was very excited about that.
Oh, you go, Bolt. You are a fucking squirrel.
Why am I a squirrel?
A fucking squirrel.
Why? Why am I a squirrel? If I was a
your
squirrel,
span.
If I was a squirrel, I would like Eddie Kingston because they like nuts and he's crazy. Same with Mark Briscoe. No,
I think there's few people in wrestling, especially in Ring of Honor, that can make me an instant believer the way Eddie Kingston does.
Oh no!
And when Eddie Kingston talks about things, he always talks about it with passion. And so with this promo, I felt his passion for the fact that like he was handpicking his opponent. Supercard of Honor is coming up. For whatever reason, and me and you've been complaining about it, the fact that people have not been calling out the champion, not been winning matches, and then making the motion saying, where's my title shot? Where's my title? I'm the uncrowned champ. Nobody said anything. Right. So here we are. For better or for worse, that kind of puts us in a position where the world champion does seemingly get to call his own shot. Give the shot to who he thinks is deserving. And with this promo, he made me think that there was nothing wrong with that. Like the way he spoke about it made me be like, you know what? Fine. Because this is what's going through his mind as he's picking it. Who deserves it? Who's been working their ass for it? Who can I tear the house down with? Who's going to fight me till we both bleed and then go get beers afterwards? And the answer is Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe is just like Eddie Kingston in that the crowd is going to be emotionally attached to both these men. I assume this would be the main event if they don't go with Athena and Sheeta. But so, I mean, I have high expectations for this match. This one's going to be an emotional one. It won't be. I don't know if it'll be on anyone's match of the year candidate at the end of the year, but this is going to be emotional.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. To be honest, when he first started talking, I thought he was talking about Okada, and I was like, "Oh, we're getting Okada and Eddie Kingston at Supercard," and I was like, "Oh wait, he's talking."
We're getting Okada and Kingston on Dynamite.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah,
that's wild. That's wild.
For freezy, they're giving it to us.
So wait, but isn't he fighting Okada for the ROH championship?
I think he's defending the Continental Championship, which technically includes the Ring of Honor Championship, but at Supercard of Honor, he's defending the Ring of Honor Championship.
So what happens if Okada beats him on Wednesday? Is he gonna fight with no belt at Supercard?
I don't believe so. This Supercard of Honor match is for the Ring of Honor Championship, so I assume this is being done either with Eddie assuming he's going to beat Okada, or maybe the Continental Championship is like, oh yeah, that's right. The Continental Championship doesn't include Ring of Honor. Triple Crown Championship includes them all.
Oh,
but I guess
okay. So
he's defending them separately. So he's defending the Continental Champion. Right.
Got it. Oh, look, somebody helped me out in the live chat. Thank you. I was like, wait, I just got super confused. I was like, wait, so he's just going to give all them up and lose and then be like, sorry, Mark, I have nothing for you to defend for
right. You. No. He's defending the Continental Championship.
That'd be Dynamite. So funny. Imagine. That'd be so funny.
He will still be the Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah. Didn't they say it was the anniversary of when like Jay had his first match or Jay had his match for ROH championship? I thought that's what they said.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. But I was happy to see him on ROH. I was like, "Oh, look, there's the champion semi on the card." That wasn't nice.
Right.
That was
and I popped for the fact that like he mentioned the Ring of Honor World Championship. He's like, "And we're gonna do it for the Ring of Honor World Championship." I was just ecstatic to fucking hear it mentioned because we haven't heard it mentioned on the show in so long. And like I think this is gonna be a big time match. I'm excited for it. Yeah. And I hope I hope we get some actual build to it, because sometimes with these matches they'll just announce the match and then like we won't see Eddie Kingston or Mark Briscoe again until Supercard of Honor. Like you just they'll just tell us the match is happening and then we'll get it.
Yo, but Sid's coming in hot in the live chat. He's helping out so much. See, that's what he said. 11-year anniversary of Jay Briscoe defeating Kevin Steen for the ROH title. Love that.
That's right. SP3 in the live chat.
I knew he said something like that. Thank you. See,
right? Yeah, I see.
That's pretty awesome.
See. No, it's gonna be a big one. Let's get into our predictions. We got the ROH Women's TV Title Tournament.
Oh yeah,
the matches continue. Let's go first. We got your pick to win it all, so I'm not gonna let you change it. You're sticking with her.
How dare you? I mean, I would have picked
Aminata versus Red Velvet. I think just to be different, I'm gonna pick Red Velvet. I do think Queen Aminata is 100% winning this.
Yeah.
So really, that's my pick. But like, yeah, I think Queen Aminata goes to the finals. And as I said, there's a good chance that since she's on AEW now, and they've kind of using her more on that platform, there's a good chance she wins because that's kind of become a theme. Win a championship, take it to AEW. You become an ROH champion. That means we're not going to see you on ROH. We're going to see you on all the other AEW shows.
Imagine being able to do that. Be like, oh, I won this championship. I'm going to go here.
Right, exactly. Watch me bring it to the ring in AEW. Watch me on a Wednesday night.
I'd go to Kaiju Big Battle with my championship.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be the first place I would go.
But yeah, no, I think the Queen makes it to the final. I do expect this to be a good one. We talk every time Red Velvet gets in the ring about how much she's improved. Queen so too, really. So these two, I think, are going to really tear it down. And it'll be fun to see whoever makes it to the end. I'm okay with.
Samesies.
This next one's tough.
Yeah.
Billy Starks, who this entire tournament kind of does. It has felt at different times like it was almost built to highlight her. To get this championship was made to get some gold on her. Billy Starks, who has promised Athena that she's bringing another championship to the Minions, taking on the only person in this tournament who has been ROH Women's Champion before, Mercedes Martinez, the legend, And now she's got backup, Danielle. Now she's got Diamante backing her up, not hiding, not shy about it. It can happen. So we talked about when Mercedes Martinez came here and joined the tournament. We're like, okay, she can make it to the finals because she's a big win. So do we see Queen Aminata beating Mercedes Martinez in the finals? Or do we see Billie Starkz remaining? Because I feel like whoever wins this match, like if Mercedes Martinez wins, I think she loses in the finals. If Billie Starkz wins, I think Billie Starkz wins in the finals.
No. I think Billie Starkz is winning and Queen Aminata is taking the championship. I think it's going to be Billie Starkz versus Queen Aminata.
You have to say that.
I don't have to say anything. Excuse me, I'm a diehard Mercedes Martinez. I believe
you picked Aminata at the end, so you have to commit to her. No, you
I'm
have
100%
to Queen winning at the end.
Oh yeah, I'm completely committing. But I would have picked her anyway. I'm not picking Billie Starkz over her. I'm picking her 100%. But I think Billie Starkz, it's going to be her and Billie Starkz.
Maybe Billie Starkz beats Red Velvet in the final.
Though if Billie Starkz or Queen Aminata win, they're going to be bringing home silver, not gold, because the title is silver, not gold. As Queen Aminata has said.
It's still
just
gold.
To be clear. It's not gold.
It's
silver.
still gold.
Silver.
Queen Aminata said
all that silver is gold,
even though it's not gold.
That's what you should have said. All that glitter is gold. Or is it? Oh, that's silver. I forgot. Anyway, but yeah, Queen Aminata. I think it's gonna be Billie Starkz and Queen Aminata. I think that's gonna be the.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be interesting.
What do you think? You didn't give me your answer.
I'm still talking. That's why I said I think it's gonna be interesting.
Oh, you're doing a long-winded response. Got it. I'm ready.
I mean, I think Diamante. If Diamante's in the corner, Mercedes Martinez, then that's a difference maker. And like they may use that as a way to get Mercedes into the finals. As I said, in terms of all four of these women, Mercedes Martinez being the final boss in the finals gives whoever becomes TV champion like that biggest statement victory in the championship match. Billie Starkz beating Queen Aminata or Red Velvet is not as big as Mercedes Martinez losing to Red Velvet or Queen Aminata because Mercedes Martinez is the biggest bad. So I'd like to see Mercedes Martinez take this all the way to the end. I just feel like they're really trying to highlight Billie here. I think Billie takes the big win, goes into the finals, and then Billie will probably win.
You think Billie's winning the TV title?
I'm starting to.
Ooh.
I mean, it's going to be Billie or the Queen. It's going to be Billie or the Queen.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be the Queen, but okay, that's fair.
It's definitely going to be one of them. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this late night edition. They got a late start, so we got a late start. But you guys are always doing your part. Continue. Please go to Super Chat. Slam Chats. Support every single show at BodySlam.net network. Do not forget to follow us everywhere at the Heel Marks. You guys are the best. We are just trying to be like you. Don't forget, we're not just smart.